First of all, welcome everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jack Wills and I have the privilege of being the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the British Institute for Learning and Development, and a very warm welcome to Milton Keynes on this, our fourth conference. First of all, I'd just like to introduce a couple of personalities in the room so that you know who they are. Sarah and Elena, you've both met, but I think they're still outside collecting latecomers coming in. But could I just very briefly ask the board members in the room just to stand up so that the audience know who they are? I'm not going to ask you to do a twirl or anything. In fact, I might ask Adrian Snook to do a twirl, actually. That probably could be the answer. I'll just do that so that those of you who are non-members or want to know anything more about the BILD throughout the rest of the day, please come and ask us and talk to us about what we're doing and how we're taking the thing forward and so on and so forth in the future. Okay. First of all, in terms of the running order of the day, it would be be very remiss of me not to thank our sponsors for today. You can see the list of the sponsors there, and I would say just very briefly that, like with all sponsors, we could not run events like this without the help and support of sponsors that we have. I also ought to say a very warm thank you to the Open University, who, without their unswerving and continued support in allowing us to use the facilities here, we would not be able to run conferences of this nature to the level of success that we would hope to achieve. So thank you very much to them. But of course, thank you very much for all our sponsors. We obviously want to encourage you to visit some of our sponsorship stands. And you can see on here that there is a prize draw for you to participate in. And obviously, do make an effort, please, of visiting the stands and collecting your free raffle ticket. You'll then be entered into a prize draw, and as you can see there are 3 prizes. I won't insult you by reading them out, but it always amuses me that the 3rd prize is always a bottle of champagne, whereas in fact probably that should be up where close to the top, I would have thought, but there we are. That's probably because I'm a stereotypical British person. In fact, I'm reminded by the fact that I work for an American company on occasions, and they're having a 10-year birthday party in America shortly. And she said, I don't know whether it's worth you coming across here, but we got free champagne in the Hilton in Washington. And I said, I'll be on the next plane. She said, oh. She obviously doesn't work with the British people too much. Sorry that we've got such a poor image. Anyway, there is a prize draw, but please do visit our sponsors and please do ask some questions. They will be apparent throughout the day. Some of them will be coming across to the lunch venue as well, so that you can interact with them there as well. Naturally, any conference like this is only as good as the lessons that we learn from year to year and taking them forward to the next year. So there obviously is an evaluation sheet at the back of the folders. You have a much smarter folder than I do. I've got a very blank folder here. But if you would please fill in those evaluation forms, you'd be really doing us a great favour, and you can leave them with the staff on the way out. Just a very quick update before we get into the meat of the conference. 4th annual conference, as you have heard already. We do have a tweet access point, #BILD 2010. Post your thoughts on that if you want to, and hopefully we'll be collecting some of those tweets during the day. Wallwisher, those of you who have not used that before, you can access that and leave your thoughts on there through that link. Our membership is currently just short now of 1,900, which is, I think, an incredible achievement, really, in these austere times. It looks like we will be going over the 2,000 mark in probably the next 3 to 4 to 5 weeks, something like that. You can never tell in terms of the cyclical sort of environment in which we live at the moment, but we'll soon be over the 2,000, which is excellent. Much of that is down to our relationship with training providers, BPP, Reed, and of course the Training Foundation, without whom the continued support, we would not have the access to some of the corporate market that we obviously like to try and reflect. So a big thank you to all of the organisations that we are involved with. We also work with an educational organisation called EPICT, who give us a route into membership as well. All the time we're trying to improve our benefits, online events, discounts and more. Do keep looking at the website to see what those are so that you can keep up to date with what is going on in the Institute. And that last point, we're getting much more involved in some research activities. And three, really, that I want to mention very briefly. We are sponsors of the Learning and Development 2020 with Training Journal, who we've had a lot to do with over the last months, and we value the participation that we have in that. We're also, you're probably aware, involved with the responsive open learning environments, the ROLE project in Europe. And Effie, where are you, Effie? Yes? We had some representatives from the ROLE project here, and they had their stand out in the foyer if you'd like to visit them and talk to them about it. It's an exciting project in terms of personal learning environments, and it's something which actually we as learning and development professionals should be keeping up to date with. And the third area that we're involved with is we have a continuing association with Towards Maturity. Laura, where are you? Laura Overton. I keep bashing the microphone. Laura Overton there. You will see on your seats that you have this leaflet here. We've had a long relationship with Towards Maturity simply because the board feels that they are very innovative in the way that they're actually trying to find out real data from the workplace and the environment. And you'll see that this leaflet refers to the 2010 learning technology benchmark. We support this, and you'll see the main bullet points on the card here. But what we're really talking about, if you are under pressure to accelerate the impact of the implementation of learning technologies, well, then this benchmark is something that you should seriously consider. Laura will be speaking later on today. She's taken place of one of our speakers who's had to withdraw, and you'll be able to catch up with her later on. Just very quickly about the future. I think it's generally agreed that we are beginning to punch above our weight now in the environment as an institute. We don't want to become monolithic like certain other large organisations with about 140,000 membership, but I couldn't possibly mention their name for fear of retribution. We don't want to be monolithic. We want to be engaging. We want to be interactive with our membership. We want to support the learning and development professionals out there who are desperate for support and recognition, and that's what we're trying to achieve. You know when you're starting to get to be well known, when some of your competitors start to phone up and ask you to talk to them, which is always quite nice. You'll see in the pack our aims and our vision for the future. You'll see that we've got a new corporate branding type leaflet that you will all have access to out in the foyer. This has been designed by Cranfield University, Cranfield Studios at the Shrivenham campus. And we're really, I think, just trying to consolidate our position and move forward. As I say, our next benchmark really will be to get over the 2,000 membership and then on. But those of you who are not members in the audience, please join us. Those of you who are members in the audience, please cajole anyone you can. I'm not just suggesting that you go out and solicit on the streets and bang them over the head and bring them through the front door, but anyone who's involved in learning and development activity, please encourage them to join us, because united we stand, divided we fall. If we are all together in a decent institute of this nature, then I think we do have a collective voice.